But let's kick this whole predictions off with the AFC North. One of the most interesting divisions. They are tough, always competitive. You have both the Baltimore Ravens, the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Cleveland Browns, and the Cincinnati Bengals. Ashton, I will let you kick it off. How do you think this division will shape out?
So, I feel like people are gonna look at my all conferences, what my predictions, and they're gonna be like, that's some hot takes, and I'm with those hot takes sometimes,
Yeah.
and I'll start out with the the number one in that division going to the Baltimore Ravens at 12-4. I don't think that's necessarily surprising to anyone,
Yeah.
but they only edge out the Cincinnati Bengals by beating them in week 16 or week 17 week 16, sorry. And the Cincinnati Bengals come in second at 12-4.
What? What? You got the
Yeah.
Bengals at 2? What's their record?
Their record is 12-4.
Oh man. You have to
With
explain that, please, sir.
what does that explain? I mean,
What do you mean?
their strength of schedule is what I went off of, and they have some surprising wins, especially early on. They play the Chargers. That's an easy win. They play the Browns. They play the Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to be a very 8-8 team. Um, or 8-8 type of team. They'll lose some games they shouldn't, and they'll win some games they shouldn't. Um, they beat the Ravens the first game they play, and I know there's always a few teams every year that outperform, and I just feel like I have a lot of faith in their new head coach. He started last year. He's a Sean McVay prototype. He got a very good quarterback. I honestly believe Joe Burrow is the best quarterback come out of college in the last 10 years. Um,
Oh, ouch.
if number one overall, I'll say that.
Okay.
The best number one overall. I'm not saying he's better than Mahomes. I'm saying I believe he's the best number one overall to ever come out of college in the last 10 years. I have them just going on a tear, and they play a lot of easy opponents. The only hard games they really play are the Ravens. They play the Titans, the Cowboys, the Steelers. And on most of those easy games, I have them winning. The only hard games I had them necessarily winning is against the Texans, once against the Ravens, and that's about all. When you're playing the Colts and the Jaguars, like you have to have a winner, and I feel like I have enough. I feel like they're going to be such a young, inexperienced team, but they're going to be strong enough that they're going to just surprise people away. And their strength of schedule is that where they'll take advantage of it. That's what I believe. Then third, I have the Steelers at 9-7, and I have the Browns at 5-11.
Okay. Um, Mine's different than yours, completely different, except for I think we can agree, and almost every single expert under the sun can agree that the Ravens are number one. I actually had them at 15-1. I wanted to keep them undefeated, but I just can't, in my conscience, say there's going to be another undefeated team in the NFL, maybe ever, but you never know. You know how good the Ravens are. Lamar Jackson is, to me, and this might be a hot take, he's the third best quarterback in the NFL, behind Mahomes and behind Wilson, in my opinion. They don't lose too much from last year, except for Earl Thomas, and that will hurt them in the defense. But their offense is too electric to keep them. They're kind of like the Chiefs, right? But can be that next level Chiefs if they keep getting those pieces, those receivers keep developing, and Lamar Jackson keeps running like he does. So they get 15-1 for me. My second place, and this is different than yours. I actually have the Steelers in at number 2. They go 11-5. I really like the Steelers this year because they get Big Ben back. He is aging, but he's still a very solid, very good quarterback. You know, he's a playoff kind of quarterback. He gets into the playoffs. They still have Juju Smith-Schuster. They still got their running back. Their defense was one of the best last year. People forget that. The addition of Minka Fitzpatrick, one of the best safeties in the league right now, changed their defense, and they have almost everybody back from
Yeah,
last
he
year.
was a great addition. He was probably one of the best low-key pickups by a team last year.
Last year, if they had a quarterback, they would be a lot better. But they did not have a quarterback, and when they did, he was fighting with Myles Garrett and the Browns, throwing helmets around. So I got them at 11-5. Third place in the division in that 8-8, the perfect 500 is the Cleveland Browns. I think, like last year, the talent is there, but they will not dwell upon it. No one knows how their coach is going to pan out this year. It's another experiment. I don't think Baker's good enough to lead this team far. If they even make the playoffs this year, they're going to instantly lose in the first round. No question in my mind. They have the pieces. I don't think Odell Beckham Jr. is a good enough number one receiver to do enough for the offense. I love Nick Chubb. I do.
Nick
But
Chubb is a great running
he
back.
is.
And I'll just chime in real quickly. I don't think by the end of the year, both Baker Mayfield and OBJ will be on the Browns.
It's tough because I think Baker in the right system can be a good quarterback. I don't think he'll ever be a great quarterback in the NFL. But I got them at 8-8 right now, and then that means last place. Coming in at 4-12 is the Bengals. So I think did we flip the win-loss
Yeah,
right?
we did. We did.
I understand your optimism with Joe Burrow. I understand that. I think, will be a great quarterback in the NFL. But you cannot sit there and tell me that their offensive line can hold up anybody, any defense in the NFL, except for maybe the Jaguars. That's it. They have no offensive line. The receivers, yes, they get AJ Green back. They get Tyler Boyd back. I like the receiving core. But Green is injury prone, and he's 32. He's aging. They don't have a single tight end because Eifert's gone. And they have nobody on the defense except for the defensive line. I'll give you that. Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap are good players. But other than that, they have no defense. So
I
Burrow's
mean,
stepping into a position where he can't succeed instantly.
during the draft and the offseason, they gained some offensive linemen. They're trying to put things together. I feel like it's less about exactly them and more about who they're playing. And I feel like they'll be kind of like the Cardinals were last year, where the Cardinals were a mess, but they still won a lot of games against bad teams, and they lost against any really, really great teams, and they picked off one or two good teams, and
I
they
would I
they,
would I would agree
they
with you, Ashton. But the difference between the two quarterbacks is Joe Burrow is not a scrambler. So when that pocket collapses, he can move. He moved in LSU, but he was not a scrambler.
I
He,
would say that the Bengals have a better offensive line than the Cardinals did this
that's
year.
I disagree. I think the Bengals' offensive line is up there with one of the worst in all the NFL right now.
That is just my gut feeling that the Bengals this year will be good. Not great, good.
Yeah, so consensus pick: Baltimore Ravens win the AFC North. They instantly move on, and we have some debates still we're in there, but the Ravens are ultimately the champions of the AFC North.